real quickly. Dear Lord, we ask that you bless this board to do what's in the best interests of all the students in this district, and give us the courage, wisdom, guidance, and knowledge to be the best board that we can for our students. All right, in your name we pray, amen.
Good evening and welcome to the August 10th, 2026 Dorchester District 2 Board of Trustees meeting. At this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda and meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Bates. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we will call for the vote. Yes, we will do a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5 in favor, 2 absent. Just as a point of information, we are on our second meeting with our new system, and so we might be working through a few kinks again, but just bear with us, please. We appreciate your patience. All right, next up on our agenda this evening, we have our district highlights. Mr. Bohannon is already up here and ready to go.
Ready to do it because we have a lot. Glad we have a full house this evening. Good evening, Dr. Wimberly, Mr. Doherty, and board members. Tonight, 4 district highlights, recognizing some outstanding accomplishments by our students from national and international competitions to state-level successes, and finally, 2 graduating seniors preparing to continue their education in the arts. We're going to begin with our future business leaders of America. This summer, 11 students from Fort Dorchester High School traveled to San Antonio, Texas to represent our district at the Future Business Leaders of America National Leadership Conference. The conference brings together some of the top FBLA students from across the country to compete, develop their leadership skills, and represent their local chapters on a national stage. At this time, I'd like to invite all of our Fort Dorchester FBLA students and their advisors to please come forward. I'll say more nice things as they come up. If you just hand them the stack, Mr. Doherty, that'd be great. Just that first stack right there on your hand. Yes, sir. They had plenty to celebrate. As a chapter, the Patriots earned recognition as both a Gold Sealed chapter and a Gold Champion chapter, honors recognizing the leadership, service, and commitment demonstrated by the chapter throughout the year. But one Patriot also made a little bit of history. Fort Dorchester FBLA chapter president Anna Yee, Anna, wave to them, perfect, earned first place in public service announcement, becoming the first Fort Dorchester High School's first ever FBLA national champion. Congratulations to Anna and the entire Fort Dorchester team on an outstanding showing at the national level. Good. Parents got what you need? Perfect. Ms. Passmore, good? Off you go. Off you go, Fort Dorchester. Our next highlight takes us from the business world into healthcare. Students from Somerville and Ashley Ridge High Schools represented DD2 at the HOSA Future Health Professionals International Leadership Conference. This conference brings students from around the world together for competitive events focused on leadership and professional and technical skills, along with educational seminars, workshops, and opportunities to learn about current issues in healthcare. And our students did considerably more than just attend. First, we'd like to invite Somerville High School's HOSA students and advisors to please come forward. Everybody, Somerville High School. Somerville students competed in extemporaneous writing, interviewing skills, and medical innovation, and the medical innovation team of Catherine Harden and Dominique Dawson finished top 10 in the world. Somerville's chapter was also recognized for its outstanding contributions to the American Blood Centers and National Marrow Donor Program. And Catherine Harden added another honor, receiving a $1,000 scholarship from Lilly Pharmaceuticals. Congratulations, Green Wave. We'd now like to invite our Ashley Ridge High School HOSA students and their advisors to come forward. Ashley Ridge also returned home with an impressive collection of international recognition. The chapter earned the Blood Drive Recruitment Award, one of only 2 chapters in the country to receive that recognition. They also earned gold-level recognition from America's Blood Centers and HOSA for a blood drive with more than 250 donors, along with a National Service Project Certificate of Merit recognizing at least 500 volunteer hours, fundraising, and work supporting the National Marrow Donor Program. And our Swamp Foxes brought home some hardware as well, placing 3rd in forensics and 4th in public service announcement. Congratulations to all our Ashley Ridge HOSA students. From future health professionals, we move to another student organization with a long tradition of developing leadership and career-ready skills, Future Farmers of America. Students from Somerville and Ashley Ridge High Schools earned recognition through FFA competition this year, including some outstanding results at the 99th South Carolina FFA State Convention. First, I'd like to invite Somerville High School's Jackson Droz to please come forward. Hey, there he is. Jackson became the South Carolina state champion in auctioneering at the state's inaugural auctioneering career development event. That victory also took Jackson all the way to San Antonio to compete in the International Junior Auctioneer Championship. Jackson comes from a family of auctioneers, has been learning the trade from a young age. In a recent local interview, when asked about what advice he had for those wanting to follow in his footsteps, he said that whenever you get the chance, you just have to show up and show out. Congratulations, Jackson. Next, I'd like to invite our Ashley Ridge High School FFA students and advisors. Please come forward. The chapter was recognized as a Silver National Chapter and for achieving 100% membership. The Swamp Foxes also put together an outstanding year of competition with top 5 finishes in 4 different state events, placing in agricultural communications, agricultural education, plant systems, and FFA creed speaking, and social systems, where Abigail Daniels became a state champion for research examining the effect of social media on perceptions of agricultural education in the community. Congratulations, our Ashley Ridge FFA students, on an outstanding year. Got it. Everybody got it. Our final highlight tonight recognizes 2 students who are taking their passion for the arts and preparing to pass that passion along to another generation. For more than a decade, members of our local arts community have worked to provide scholarships for graduating DD2 students pursuing further education in the arts. Somerville Rocks began when an artist-decorated rocking chair auction in 2014, and its first auction helped fund what became the Larry Barnfield Arts Education Scholarship. The effort later transitioned to the Somerville Artists Guild, which has continued supporting 2 scholarships for DD2 students. We're pleased tonight, I think, to have Somerville Artists Guild President Sheila Preston Ford joining us. Are you in the room? Wave. Hey, come on. Bring all of you. Yeah, all the Somerville Artists Guild people. Come on. In addition to our District Director of Fine Arts, Mr. Jason Walsh, if you would join us, please. We'd also want to recognize longtime friend of DD2, Mr. Larry Barnfield, who is unable to join us this evening, but sends his best to our scholarship recipients. The scholarship bearing Mr. Barnfield's name was created in his honor as a longtime educator and advocate for arts education in South Carolina. It specifically supports DD2 graduates pursuing degrees in music, drama, dance, or visual arts education. Both of this year's recipients are graduates of Ashley Ridge High School. The Larry Barnfield Arts Education Scholarship is presented to Nicholas Hatmaker. Nicholas will be attending Furman University, go Paladins, to pursue music education this fall, leaving this weekend. Got it. Parents got it. Perfect. And the Somerville, yeah, this one's not going to be photo op because he's not here. The Somerville Artist Guild Scholarship presented to Samuel Hamilton, who will be attending the University of South Carolina. And I have it on good authority that Sam moved in this past weekend to start band camp this week, and we'll make sure his certificate gets to him. So congratulations, Sam. And this concludes tonight's district highlights.
All right, thank you for your patience. Next item on our agenda is a public comment on agenda items, and we do not have any this evening, so we will move on to our board committee reports, and we will start with policy committee. Ms. Bates?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I have no policies up, but we did meet prior to this meeting, so those will be coming at our next meeting, as well as we have the upcoming dates, as you can see on the screen. So please take note of those, board members and community, if you would like to attend. And that's all.
All right, thank you very much. We have our finance committee next. Mr. Guthrie, do you have anything to report for us this evening?
No updates, but we have our next August meeting, August 24th at 5 p.m.
Perfect. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. All right, facilities committee, Mr. Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did want to highlight, because obviously we are now back in school, and I see Mr. Smith back there, but their entire team. I think a lot of us had the opportunity to go into schools. I'm not quite sure the community understands the full scope of what has to happen to prepare our schools for students every year, and especially in the summertime, and they had a very, very, very short window of time for a lot of these schools. And so I just want to say from our position, from my position up here, a very genuine thank you. Much appreciated, noticed, and we do have a more in-depth facilities report later on in the meeting. But again, just want to say thank you for Mr. Smith and his crew.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. All right, next we have our Governmental and Community Relations Committee. Ms. Bates?
At this time, there's no update, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you very much. We will move on to the board chair's report. I do have lots of dates to share with you, upcoming events. We've put in several conferences and meetings, as well as all of our academic awards programs that will be happening in October. We need to go ahead and get those out so that everyone could mark their calendars and make plans to be there. So we've got a bunch of dates up until December. So just for your review, let me know if you have any questions over those, regarding those. And I apologize, I skipped one thing before the upcoming board events. I also have school opening I wanted to talk about for a second, because I do know, as Mr. Farnsworth said, many of us were able to have an opportunity to visit some of our schools on opening day or days surrounding that. And so I just thought thought we might take a second to share some of the great things we've seen. I agree with what Mr. Farnsworth said, and I know we all do. Our schools looked amazing, very welcoming. I know lots has happened this summer. Lots of work went into getting them prepared, so we're appreciative of that. And not only did our buildings look great, but the excitement and just the morale from our teachers and staff was amazing. You could just really tell from being in those buildings that they were thrilled to be welcoming back our students, and it was a great feeling. We've got lots going on in our buildings still, and I love the fact that our people are embracing what's happening, and they are making the best of it. And I think they're excited about a new school year, and I couldn't have felt more positive about it. And I know you all feel the same. And if anyone would like to share something, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I just thought we would just highlight what a great start we've gotten back to.
I mean, I love any opportunity to brag on our people. I got to visit some schools Monday, Tuesday before school started, and then I went Wednesday, first day of school. So it was fun to kind of see both, like the getting ready and all the teachers kind of in their classroom, getting them ready, the excitement they had there, and just all our facilities team was doing to last minute, final touches on everything. I went through Knightsville, and just phenomenal job with what you guys did over there. There was somebody everywhere. I was joking with somebody that when I walked in, it felt like Christmas, Eve, like all the elves in the workshop were all doing something different, but the vibe was just so joyful and so infectious. And I'm like, what can I do? I wanted to be part of it. And I thought that was really, really cool. And same Somerville High School, they were making bags for all the teachers and hopped in there. And then just the day of, just the smiles, everybody was happy to be where they were supposed to be, doing their job, welcoming students. Students had positive attitudes, and just an overall, it just reminds you, it really is a different environment here. And I know we say that all the time about Dorchester District 2 being family, but even just, stopping and talking to Matt with our MTSS from the district at Pi at the end of the day, we just kind of reminisced over the day, and it's just really, really heartwarming to see how much everybody puts into what they do here and how much they truly, truly take their roles seriously and care, from, our custodial staff to our, like I said, facilities, admin, support staff, everybody. So thank you. Awesome start to the year. And it was really, really a pleasure to be able to go in there the first day and those days leading up to and see all that firsthand. It's a good reminder, so I love it.
I'll go really quick. So a lot of y'all know I taught 3rd and 4th grade, and once you're one of my babies, you're always one of my babies. And so it was really exciting to go into a middle school and be able to greet them and actually see my former kids excited to be in their first day of middle school. And they genuinely wanted to be there. Their teachers wanted to be there. It was just a really good feeling to bless and release them and see that they're doing well and thriving in their environment.
Super quick, I will say the word that comes to mind for this year's opening was smooth. I think back, we've had some other years that maybe were not quite as smooth. I visited Sand Hill, and they're bursting at the seams, 1,400 kids. And what was, even being in there, it was not chaotic, it was smooth, it was easy. Transportation, I don't know if Mr. Shope is in here. I've had very, very few transportation issues, kind of some one-off stuff, which is very telling, whether we get a lot of that stuff or not. So overall, knock on wood, it seems like I know that we're off to a fantastic start. So.
I feel exactly the same way. It did. It felt very smooth. So thank you to everyone who made that happen. I know that it's easy to walk in there and feel that smoothness, but a lot went into getting there. So we appreciate it. All right. Well, I think that concludes the board chair's report today. So we will move to the next item on our agenda, which is our superintendent's report.
Yeah, so I'll kind of echo the same sentiments the board did. So a lot of time put into the start of school. And I just want to thank our custodial team, our facilities team, also our district leadership team who was there for the first 3 days, helping out, going into schools. Technology team was there, and so it's been a great start. The first 5 days were a little bit different this year. We didn't have our convocation. We were able to survey our staff, and our staff said, could we use that time to work in our classrooms? And so I think that's another reason why you see a lot of happy teachers. They had some time, 2 days to work in their classroom, nobody to bother them. We were very specific with our principals, said do not even, go and have a meeting with them. Don't ask them down for lunch. Please be very intentional, allow them to work in their rooms. And then they had 2.5 days for professional development, then a half day for team planning in their buildings. And so I feel like that's helped a lot to be that intentional, positive culture and climate. So that's been good. Also, as you said earlier, shout out to Jeff Smith. You think about the number of projects we had that happened this summer. We had Somerville Elementary School. We had the 2 additions over at Oak Brook Elementary and Oak Brook Middle. And then you had the 2 projects or 2 buildings, or you had the weight room and also the the performing arts room, and also the road that we have now expanded at Ashley Ridge, and those were all on time. And so that is a tribute to our facilities team and our custodial team and the finance team in making sure this gets done appropriately and it's on time. So that was huge. Transportation, that's been mentioned. Just reminder that we did start 15 minutes earlier at our middle school and high schools this year. And I know Mr. Farrell has been very intentional about texting and communicating with principals when the last bus comes in. And so we're very happy to report we're getting better and better each day. Maybe one bus at 8:17 is supposed to be there at 8:15. We're not perfect yet, but we're getting there. Mr. Farrell also rode a bus. And he was able to kind of see, what they do on a daily basis in our transportation department. So appreciate his leadership there. And so, again, some of the challenges when those students do register late, we've already got bus routes that are already planned, and then when you add more routes and kids in there, and so then the routes become, maybe the bus becomes a little bit overcrowded, but it's not overcrowded by state standards, and then we have to then think of different routes and then double backs in there. So that's been a little bit of a challenge for those late registers. We still have kids that are still registering today. So, but overall, we've done a really great job with transportation this year. Back to school report, class sizes. We talked about the budget this past year of trying to be budget neutral in everything that we do. We had a few elementary schools that had some lower class sizes, and then we had some other ones that had some pockets of some class sizes in certain grades that were a little bit bigger, and so we had to move 3 elementary teachers to other buildings to start the year, and we would try to do that before Meet the Teacher Night. And I want to thank Jeff Smith and our custodial crew making sure to get everything they need over in those rooms and move those people, and they were very gracious in moving there. Enrollment, still several students registering for school. Numbers will continue to change for the next 2 weeks. I think we gained another 300 students today that just didn't register, and we'll see that continue. We're projected to be just over 25,000, maybe higher than that, just depends with the registrations when they come in. Also, a shout out to our administrators and our personnel department. We were at 99.7% fill rate for all certified positions. That's been the best fill rate we've had since 2019. And, we talk about recruitment and retention, and I was walking around with Jen Tracy today at River Oaks, and I remember 3 years ago, she did over 200 interviews just to fill positions, and she only had to fill 2 positions this past year, and it was very easy for her to fill because you could see what she's done to that building and the changes they've made. So, again, kudos to our principals and our personnel team. Food service, again, all students receive breakfast and lunch for free, and thus far we've had no issues. And then kind of going into this, the kind of highlights from last year, we're starting to get our test results back. And so a little bit, the highlights are English, language arts, math, and science. They meet and exceeds expectation. Percentages are above the state in all those areas. And so we'll be able to get more detail later, but those just came unembargoed today. And so again, the 2026 end-of-course examination, which is EROCEP, highlights the D2's average performance of end-of-course exams for biology, English 2, U.S. history, and Constitution exceeded state averages. Due to the state's transition to new high school mathematics course sequence, fewer students took Algebra 1 assessment this year than previous years. So because the number of students tested is significantly smaller, the results cannot be meaningful compared with what we've done in other years. But again, DD2 exceeded the state's 75% proficiency goal for student achievement on the English 2 EOCP. And then when you look at our college and career readiness assessments, you can see we went up from 74 to 76%. And then when you look at DD2 for the two highest levels of achievement, we went from 35 to 41.8%. And then DD2 students outperformed the state average in all subtests, including math, reading, and data analysis. And so, and then looking at the last metric there is you're looking at our WIDA results, English Second Language students, and we're up from 12.3 to 14.9%. And so, again, that is a huge, huge shout out to the whole team of our teachers, our administrators, our district office staff have done a great job of getting prescriptive and making sure we're intentional when we're trying to reach the needs of all students. And so, very excited about that. And then moving on to the next item on our agenda is, excuse me, I'll let you see if you guys have any questions or, okay. All right, I'll move on to the next item on our agenda is the educational sales tax update. August 26, 2026, we'll have training from SCASBA that day. And then on November 3rd election, the question will go on the ballot. And our county council approved the 85-15 split for 15 years, 85% for DD2 and 15% for DD4. And so that's kind of where we're at, the update with the educational sales tax. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but just to add about the training, I did speak with Debbie Elmore, and she is going to come on August 26th. That's the Monday of our next meeting. I believe we had committee meetings at 4 and 5, so I have her scheduled for 3. So I'll have one. She might have already sent out the calendar invite. If not, I'll make sure everyone gets it out. But so that will be happening at 3. It'll be Debbie Elmore again. So just.
And then to add to that training, it will be the do's and don'ts that you can do for this. We cannot advocate, but we can educate what this is going to mean for our school district, but we cannot advocate. So again, this is education only, and we'll learn the do's and don'ts from Debbie that night.
I apologize. So it's the 24th, not the 26th. I'm sorry. Yes. So it's the Monday. Yes, the Monday of our next meeting, which I believe you're right, is the 24th. Okay. Thank you, Ms. King.
Thank you for that. Apologize for that. And then our next item on our agenda is our kind of facilities report. And Mr. Jeff Smith, who we've been talking a lot about, and his team, they have done a phenomenal job of getting us ready for the 26-27 school year. So I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Yeah, so Mr. Souls is out this week, but I'll try to do the best I can to recap some of his projects that he's been overseeing. Obviously, we're still waiting on the land conveyance at the ponds. Not a whole lot's changed, I don't think, in the last month or so, but we're still ready to build as soon as they turn it over to us. Somerville Elementary, I think a lot of y'all have already had a chance to walk the new addition, so it's complete. Obviously, we're working out a few things with some warranty issues that we're still working on, finalizing a few things, but for all intents and purposes, we're 100% done, and we're occupying the building, and I've got a few more furniture deliveries to happen this week that'll be coming in to kind of make them whole with some things that we were missing, but other than that, that building's ready to roll. If you go to Somerville High School, we've actually broken ground. They're moving dirt around, getting the location ready for the new gym, so fencing is up. I think they've got the SWIP fencing all up as well, so that's all in progress. Ashley Ridge, so students are occupying the weight room, they're occupying the new classrooms, they're occupying the new band room. We have a temporary occupancy approval. I think we still have to come back and do a few things with a fire hydrant that we had to move, but otherwise, that complete renovation is complete at this point. We do have some work to go back and do where there were some issues with the road we put in a couple spots, but they're going to fix that over October break, I believe. Is that correct? Yep, October break. So that's moving along well. We are actually starting the track out there next week. We're going to start work on the track that we had already approved. So that's going to begin shortly, and it'll be ready for the the next track season. The Fort Dorchester High School Classroom Edition, we're just waiting on the contract to be executed, and that'll get kicked off. I think we're looking at sometime mid-October is for the start date on that construction, so we've got a little bit of time until it kicks off, but I think it's going to run into, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not Tony, but I think April, May timeframe is, I think, the Knightsville campus. If anybody's ridden by, you'll see that we've got, you know, the wing that's going to be coming down, fenced off. We've moved a lot of playground equipment around, so that's all complete now, and they're all occupying the trailers. Outside, we've got quite a bit of work went on out there. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a ton of work, but it was definitely a lot more than we thought initially going into it. But we definitely were glad to be able to get all the teachers moved in. I think the open house happened and our meet the teacher, and it poured down rain right before. So I know they're still doing some awning work, moving things around. Based on how they've kind of occupied those trailers, we had to knock a few walls out to make the rooms larger. But yeah, I think for all intents and purposes, we have a schematic design. We're in CDs now with the Knightsville edition. So, and I think we actually have a 3D rendering that we just received from the architect that we're going to probably be able to hopefully share with the board and with the in the community as well. So that project is moving right along. We're hoping to start, I think, tear down on that old building end of September, beginning of October is what I think we're scheduled at right now. The Oak Brooks, so we're still pending a few things from the state fire marshal, but we have a clearance to be in the building. It's just basically doing a test on the BDA, the bidirectional antenna. And so those buildings are both occupied. The picture you see on here now for the maintenance shed, it's already outdated. They have all the siding up. They're working on the interior build out. So I don't know what the completion date on that is. Do you, Rhonda? Is it like September? It's coming along quickly. I mean, it'll go up pretty quick. So you mentioned earlier about, you know, it was a smooth start to school. I will just say a little story that I heard from one of my buddies at one of the neighboring counties. So they're going to start school tomorrow with, I think, students like in like a multi-purpose room, a media center, because they didn't finish 4 or 5 classrooms construction-wise. So they're going to have to do kind of some like a modified start to school. So very lucky, knock on wood, that we had a good summer. I don't usually get nervous in the summer with projects because I know what's going to. I've been around it a long time. When I was at Beach Hill, probably the second to last week of July, I almost thought about getting nervous. But over the weekend, they miraculously dropped like 60 classrooms worth of ceiling tile, and somehow we opened up okay. So a big shout out to Miss Harris, Miss Booton, Miss Cubbage, Miss Hayes at William Reeves, because they had to endure some stressful times when, you know, typically we're used to our teachers being able to get back in the buildings early July, unless we have a summer camp. It's unfortunate that, you know, our summers are so short, and it does stretch it to the very end. And of course, the projects you're most worried about end up being the ones that go fine. Seems like anytime we put a new HVAC system in, it takes us like 6 months after they're installed to get it working correctly. I mean, we had temporary units at William Reeves with a brand new system the first day of school just because they come in from the factory with defects or something wrong. So things we have to work through, and luckily they've been really patient on working through those issues that we've encountered. I won't go through everything in depth, but as you see on the picture here, so we did get the new courtyard done at Gregg Middle School. It turned out really great. If you get a chance to ride by and take a look at it, the beauty of that is that, you know, when we get to the spring every year, there's pretty much no grass. It was just mud. And anytime it rains, it's terrible. Now this, you can go out there as soon as it finishes raining and be back on the courtyard. So it's a great, you know, place for the students to be. Along with building the addition at Somerville Elementary, we did upgrade all the hallway lights to LED in the common areas. We also did span education center. So we've got all departments over except for 2. We're moving food service and nutrition over, and information technology over at Labor Day weekend. So that should complete the move over for all departments there. Still have some more renovations that we want to do down the road that we're going to be working on, some parking renovations and some restroom upgrades, but for all intents and purposes, that's basically operational at this point with just about everybody in there. And the spaces we're moving into are pretty much ready to move into as well. We're just going to kind of wait till we get, you know, school established and everybody's kind of in a good rhythm before we move them over. Didn't want to do it the week of school starting, you know, for obvious reasons. what else do we have? So another thing we had, so of course, nothing ever goes great whenever you're doing something at an old school. So Somerville High School, we had some HVAC units to put on in the cafeteria. Well, in doing that, one of the valves broke in the ceiling for the chiller line. So when you go to fix that, now the chiller line explodes underground. So we had to basically cut out the asphalt behind the school, fix the chiller line, get that up and running. So we were down for about a week there prior to facts and fees. Let's see, anything else I want to touch on? Nope, we can go to the next slide. Just a couple pictures to show you where we are at. Top picture on the right shows like a pod at Newington prior to, actually a classroom at Newington prior to the start of the project this summer. Bottom left shows you what we had when we got in there. So basically the entire ceiling was pulled open. They had to pressure wash the entire ceiling above grid. And then the pictures on your right show you after we had removed the panels, finished the walls, put the new ceiling back in. So it was a pretty intense project to go through. And then next summer, we're doing about 3/5 of the building. This summer, we did 2/5, and next summer, we're going to tackle the remainder of that building. So that'll be another big project, very much to the wire. Austin Middle School, if you get by there, it's been around for a long time, and we gave the bathrooms a much-needed facelift. If you can look in there. So we basically had a project a few years ago where we renovated the locker rooms. So we kept the same aesthetic and just moved it over to all their staff, our student restrooms. And I think we knocked out all their student restrooms and all their staff restrooms. So it was good to get that knocked out and, you know, nice clean restrooms to start the year out. Gregg Middle School, they got quite a bit of work this summer. So they got, you know, almost $2 million worth of roofing for all those buildings out there. We've got the courtyard, and we also redid their gym floor, and we painted the entire gym because part of their roofing and exterior wall project, they had a lot of moisture issues in the gym. So we took care of all that and got the entire inside painted and the floor redone. So that was done this summer as well. That actually started in spring and ended up carrying over till summer. Last thing I wanted to update everybody on is the tennis courts that we're going to be putting over at Austin Middle School for Somerville High School. So we are still moving along in the right direction. We have our TRC meeting tomorrow for the review with the town of Somerville. So fingers crossed, everything goes well. And then currently we're looking at putting this out for bid probably the last of September, 1st of October, which should give us enough time to have those ready for the spring season. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else, unless anybody has any questions they want to ask.
Well, Jeff, you've been busy. You and your team have been very
It's been
busy.
a pretty good summer.
No,
We've got a great team. Like I said, the facilities department, the guys and ladies that work for us, they've done awesome. I mean, we've had a lot of things. Kenny would call me and say, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And a lot of things that we hadn't planned on at the beginning of the year that we ended up adding along the way. So, I mean, if I had to count the number of products we added after June 1st, it would probably be almost as many as we actually planned on starting. And we kind of left some room in our schedule knowing that would happen.
Well, and I also want to thank Tina and Rhonda and also Lisa Sizzler. I know they're involved with all of our planning, and also Mr. Farrell and the team, and of trying to get all of these projects planned. It's a lot of planning and trying to coordinate all these projects. But so thank you. And again, these were all completed this summer and they were done. And so especially when you go to Newington, I know Jeff talked a little bit about the lighting project. So if you go in there and you go to the right, you can see the new lights and how it lit, and you can look at the other way. We haven't finished those, and you can see a big difference. And you know, when you go around, the teachers are like, "When are you doing my lights?" And so,
well, I mean, and with these projects, I mean, you know, thank you for all our administrators and our staff, because like I said, it's a lot when you go into a building that close to the end of summer and you see how much disarray it's in, and then they're like, "Oh, I can't believe it came all together that fast," and it really does come together quickly. And a lot of times you're waiting on inspections and things like that. So. I just, hopefully if we get a sales tax passed, we're going to have opportunities to do this in many more locations and in a lot larger scale. So I would say it's something we're going to have to get used to, doing this kind of stuff every summer in multiple locations.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And I do give a shout out to our administrators. I know they've had that life skill flexibility because, some things didn't go as planned. I know some of our buildings with the air conditioning units putting in there, and we've had to go to portable units. And so our teachers and staff have been very gracious and giving us a lot of grace as we're finishing some of those up. But you guys have done a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the board?
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have this evening.
All right, board members, we did receive these student enrollment recommendations in our packet. Is everyone okay to proceed in open session? All right. Yes, at this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the student enrollment recommendations as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Bates, seconded by Ms. King. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we will call for the vote. Should we do a hand vote?
It voted, but
Oh, yours did? Mine doesn't come
I don't
up.
think it pops up unless everyone voted. Did you vote for?
Is everyone in favor?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Motion carries 5 in favor, 2 absent. All right.
There it goes.
I know. Oh, yep, now it's up. Yep, perfect. Very
I think
good.
you have to put in that they're absent.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Doherty. Next item on our agenda is our public comments on non-agenda items. First up, we have Mrs. Anna Llewellyn.
Hello. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Dougherty, and DD2 staff. My name is Anna Llewellyn. I'm a DD2 parent and a local captain with Schools Beyond Screens, a nonpartisan national grassroots movement advocating for healthier technology habits, greater transparency, and responsible evidence-based technology policies in our schools. Before I begin, I want to sincerely thank each of you, along with our teachers, administrators, and staff, for the time, care, and dedication you invest in our students every day. I'm here because over the past several months, I've had conversations with many parents, teachers, students, and community members who are asking important questions about screen time, artificial intelligence, student privacy, and how we can ensure that technology in our schools truly enhances learning without replacing the relationships and experiences that our children need to thrive. We believe that we can work together on solutions, especially in the following areas. First, by establishing healthy, developmentally appropriate screen limits on screen time during school. Our goal is not to eliminate technology, but to ensure that it is intentional, transparent, age-appropriate, and in the best interests of our students and teachers. Evidence-based research supports that children also need to learn through direct human instruction, paper and pencil, outdoor play, and meaningful relationships with their teachers and classmates. Especially for our youngest learners like my son, we believe it's worth evaluating whether daily one-to-one device use is the most effective model, or whether shared classroom technology can provide appropriate access while reducing unnecessary screen exposure. Principal Joy recently announced that Screen-Free Fridays will begin this year at Sandhill Elementary. This is an encouraging step forward that we hope more schools in our district will adopt. Second, we propose greater transparency for families. Parents and teachers should know exactly how much time our students spend daily on their district devices, what platforms they are using, when AI is part of the instruction, what data those platforms collect, and how that data is being used and stored. Third, strengthen protections around student-facing AI. We appreciate that the board adopted a task force policy regarding the responsible use of AI this year. This is an important first step, and we hope to build upon that foundation through independent evidence-based assessment and clear protections around student data, including voice and video recordings, which happens, and third-party data storage. This conversation is not unique to DD2. Legislation addressing these concerns has already been enacted in Iowa, Tennessee, Utah, Alabama, Virginia, and Maine. DD2 has an opportunity to be a leader for South Carolina by putting children, teachers, safety, transparency, and evidence-based decision-making at our center. Tonight, I'm honored to present this community petition for your thoughtful consideration on behalf of more than 150 parents, educators, students, and community members gathered in a week who believe that we can embrace innovation while also protecting childhood, supporting our teachers, and ensuring that technology is implemented responsibly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sorry, Ms. Llewellyn.
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Martha Sue Hope.
Good evening. I am here because I wanted to follow up on the policy meeting that I went to. I know y'all have policy meetings all the time. Sometimes I come and speak, sometimes I come and listen. And I'm just concerned about, well, I have a question. How would the community know if what was talked about was ever considered? Because I think the next time, when the policy comes up to the board and it's just exactly the same as it was originally being considered, I don't know how to connect that. And I know y'all talk about wanting community involvement. I'm a community person, don't have kids in the schools now, but it just concerns me, and this is especially in regards to the bullying policy. I'm just very worried about that because as I sit here in the audience month after month, so many times parents come up here and are concerned about their kids being bullied, and they leave still concerned that their kids are being bullied and they're not being listened to. So I would like better communication, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hope. All right, next we have Mr. Jason Brockert.
Good evening. 3 minutes is obviously never enough time. In fact, I would have spoken about agenda topics only and gone earlier, except there were some things that came up during the policy committee meeting that I wanted to address as well. And so the thing is, last week I actually finally got a chance to meet with your council. I won't discuss the content, but it was a very productive discussion, similar to like what I've been asking for literally years. But let me explain how we got here. So back in the dark COVID days, when I first started engaging y'all at the district level, my family was happy with everyone. We were only dealing with Span and Sires Elementary. We loved our Sires family. Still do, by the way. And then we started getting into middle school before the world lost its mind and the pandemic happened. But I started coming to public comment, and I was trusted to set the tone of respect. It's kind of weird how things have changed. Then we get all the way up to 2022, and my family had significant personal issues to address, and they just weren't getting addressed at the school level. So I came here, and I spoke about the bullying policies. Again, this is 2021, 2022. And I think I told you earlier, but I didn't care which was true, whether the policy failed my son or the administration of that policy failed my son. My son was failed. We lost Julian in 2024, and there are still unaddressed bullying issues that happened to him and never got answers. So in November of 2024, I attempted to re-engage with this governmental body to create change for a better future for the children that are being ignored still to this day. I'm sure that you've had plenty of issues which have likely been handled well, and that doesn't excuse the ones that slip through the cracks. And it certainly doesn't excuse the ones that are explicitly brought to your attention. Silence is the enemy, even if it's your normal routine. That brings us to April of 2025 during a town hall where you had to respond to me. That didn't go very well when you actually had to talk directly back to me, because it turns out the truth is a little bit different when you can't just back away from it or hide behind a shield. All I've ever wanted was the truth. All I ever really wanted was to speak to you like human beings. Like I said, in November of 2024, when I came back to this podium as a broken father asking to properly grieve my son, and I was given silence. I would like a town hall, like the one in October of last year that got canceled and not rescheduled. And we still don't see anything online about responding to the community. So, yes, please, respond to the community.
Thank you, Mr. Brockert. All right, next item on our agenda is our executive session, and we do not have one this evening. So at this time, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Ms. Bates, seconded by Ms. King. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we will call for the vote. Okay. Motion carries 5 in favor, 2 absent. We are adjourned.